Check this out. The legend lives from the Chippewa down on the big lake.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi.
Gitchagumi. That's already like, what? Where is this Gitchagumi Lake? And also, what do they make there? Is there any bakery? Because I want to know what kind of bread they make in Gitchagumi.
The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early.
This really feels like a more kind of Irish ballad, you know, sing-song writing in that kind of direction.
The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling?
Well, you know, I don't know if you know, but when I was young, I've been actually a junior cadet, and also a seaman on cargo ships, because I studied to become basically captain on cargo and cruise ships. So I started the career at the time after the school in 98 and 99 and up to 2003, and then I stopped. Wasn't my life. So a lot of these things, it makes sense to me, obviously, but I'm also asking, like, this is a very specific thing, so I wonder how he was involved. Was it inspired by this event, or was he involved himself? Because he's so specific, right, to write a song in this way. So, and the song itself, you see, like it's sort of repetitive, right? The shape of the phrasing, it's the same in terms of the verses. Usually they're in 4, if I remember correctly. And there's just embellishment with the electric guitar underneath on top of the acoustic, chords. That repeats the melody of the voice. Drum, let's go.
The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound, and the wave broke over the railing.
Nice swelling.
And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind.
Very nice the way that drum kicked in.
When supper time came, the old cook came on deck saying, "Fellas, it's too rough to feed you."
That's the worst news possible.
At 7 p.m. a main hatchway caved in. He said, "Fellas, it's been good to know you."
You know, I'm telling you by experience, if there is something you look forward when you are on a ship, especially if you're already traveling for some time, it's food. Like food, all the 3 occasion of food a day, it's like really, and it's so specific because on board, you know, at least where I was, there are also very specific menus. You know that on Thursday you get this meat or chicken or like, I don't remember, I think it was on Thursday that we also got a sweet, usually ice cream, right? So there were this cadence where you're just like, oh, today is Thursday, we're gonna get this, in the morning, and we're gonna get that in, for dinner. So you were really looking forward to that ice cream or to that special different thing, and especially the first week after you left the port, where you have a lot of fresh fruit, a lot of fresh stuff, and then as you go further, right, especially if you have longer trips, you start to rely more on, like same stuff or frozen thing. Like I did one trip from Vancouver, Canada to the Netherlands, and we had to go all the way down to Cape Horn because we couldn't go through Panama Canal. So it literally took 52 days of navigation, and was one of my biggest trip at the time. And I'm telling you, I wasn't going crazy, but I started to dream of sitting in a cafe surrounded by people. I literally dreamed of being a place where there were other people. That's it. Nothing special. And that's because, you start to see always the same people that you work with. Everybody has a shift. So this, like I understand a lot of this stuff.
The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril.
Wow, man.
Later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Man on board. The most important thing on board is checking always the weather. Like you get weather report all the time. You're always today, of course, already when I was on board, technology was much better, so you get bulletins all the time with precision, precise location of wind and bad weather, because there's literally not a safe place in the ocean, and you have to avoid at all costs like bad weather, because you never know what you're going to find, especially in high winds in certain areas. So I've got experience in few of those, and I can tell you, you don't want to get in one of those. It can be very dangerous.
Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. And all that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters.
It's always on the fourth verse that it goes higher with the voice, right?
Lake Huron rolls, Superior sings in the rooms of her ice water mansion. Old Michigan steams like a young man's dreams. The islands and bays are for sportsmen. And farther below, Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her. The iron boats go, as the mariners all know, with the gales of November remembered.
It's a long song.
Remembered.
An old ship, man.
In a musty old hall in Detroit, they prayed in the Maritime Sailors' Cathedral. The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Poor people, man.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi.
Interesting, you see how you know that the song is coming to an end, right? That there is the same repetition of the beginning. It's like a closing of the tale, right? Closing of the story.
Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early.
Poor guys, 29 people, rest their soul, man. I totally sympathized. I a few times shit my pants in